It was a warm and breezy Tuesday afternoon in Los Angeles, the kind of day that made you want to take things slow and appreciate the little joys in life. And that was exactly what Keanu Reeves planned to do. After wrapping up an intense morning of filming for his latest action-packed blockbuster, he decided to treat himself to a simple pleasure, a freshly made veggie sandwich from his favorite local deli. Keanu walked through a quiet park, found an empty bench beneath a shady tree, and unwrapped his sandwich. He took a deep breath, savoring the aroma of roasted peppers, crisp lettuce, and freshly baked bread. Just as he was about to take his first bite, a sudden gust of wind swept through the park. Before Keanu could react, the parchment-wrapped sandwich was yanked from his grasp, sent spiraling into the air like a runaway kite. His eyes widened in horror as he watched his lunch perform an acrobatic twist before landing, of all places, right in the lap of a plump and utterly bewildered pigeon. The pigeon blinked once, then twice. It looked at the sandwich, then at Keanu, then back at the sandwich. And in that moment, something changed in the bird's beady little eyes. It was as if destiny had whispered in its ear, "This is your moment, 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴." With a triumphant coo, the pigeon seized the sandwich in its beak and took off at an unexpectedly impressive speed. Keanu sprinted through the park, weaving between joggers, dodging a street performer playing the violin, and leaping over a tiny chihuahua in a tutu. His long coat billowed behind him, and his sunglasses remained perfectly in place, making him look like a man on a mission. 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴 was no ordinary pigeon. The bird flew with the grace of a seasoned escape artist, dipping, diving, and weaving through the urban jungle like a feathery rogue. The sandwich, miraculously intact, dangled from its beak as it flitted toward a farmer's market. Keanu followed, nearly colliding with a display of organic avocados. The vendor, mistaking Keanu's intensity for a deep passion for produce, shouted, "3 for $5, my dude." "Not now," Keanu called back, narrowly avoiding a cart of artisanal honey. The chase led through a yoga class in the park, causing several downward dogs to turn into startled starfish poses. An elderly woman in a sun hat cheered him on. "Go get that bird, young man." "I'm trying," Keanu replied, vaulting over a meditation circle. The pigeon darted into an outdoor cafe, sending patrons scrambling as Keanu pursued. A waiter, balancing an entire tray of cappuccinos, gasped as Keanu narrowly avoided toppling him. "Sir, are you—" "Pigeon stole my sandwich," Keanu shouted in explanation, making the waiter nod sagely. "Ah, of course. Happens more often than you'd think." 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴 flapped its way toward an open-air theater where Shakespeare's performance was in progress. The actor playing Hamlet barely had time to react before Keanu stormed across the stage, chasing the pigeon. "To be or not to, what on earth?" the actor stammered as Keanu sprinted past. The chase continued through increasingly absurd situations. At one point, Keanu had to commandeer a child's skateboard, rolling down a busy sidewalk as bystanders cheered. He briefly paused when a group of breakdancers challenged him to a dance-off, because when Keanu Reeves is invited to a dance-off, he doesn't say no. With a swift spin move and an impressively fluid moonwalk, he wowed the crowd before dashing off again. Meanwhile, 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴 had gathered an unexpected following. Other pigeons, inspired by his daring escape, had begun to form a makeshift squadron. Keanu now found himself dodging not just one, but an entire flock of pigeons who seemed determined to keep him from his precious sandwich. Keanu's pursuit took him through back alleys and rooftops, where he discovered an entire underground society of pigeons. Hidden from the human eye, these pigeons had formed a sophisticated network, running a black market trade of stolen snacks. 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴, it seemed, was a high-ranking member of this covert organization. Keanu marveled at the tiny infrastructure, crumb caches, bottle cap currency, and miniature signs that read, "No seagulls allowed." He spotted pigeons in tiny hats exchanging breadcrumbs like seasoned traders. A stout pigeon, wearing a monocle, eyed Keanu suspiciously. "New recruit." "No, just here for my sandwich," Keanu replied. 𝐍𝐸𝐿𝐴 stepped forward, setting the sandwich down as if presenting it for negotiation. The other pigeons cooed in unison, awaiting Keanu's next move. He realized this was no longer just about the sandwich. It was about proving himself to the pigeons. Keanu took a deep breath and, in a moment of sheer brilliance, performed a perfect pigeon head bob. The underground pigeons gasped. The monocle pigeon whispered, "He knows the way." With that, 𝐍𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐼 relinquished the sandwich, acknowledging Keanu's undeniable worthiness. The other pigeons bowed their heads in respect as Keanu walked away, sandwich finally reclaimed. As Keanu turned to leave, he noticed something strange. Tucked beneath the sandwich was a small, crumpled note. Curiosity got the better of him, and he unfolded it. "If you're reading this, you've proven your determination. Meet me at the corner of 5th and Maple at sunset. A friend." Keanu arrived at the corner of 5th and Maple that evening and found a bustling food truck serving warm meals to those in need. At the center of it all was a familiar face, Mr. Jenkins, his old high school janitor, now in his 80s but still full of life. "Keanu," Mr. Jenkins said warmly, his eyes twinkling. "Knew you'd come. That sandwich was just a little test, to see if you still had that same heart I remember." Keanu chuckled, shaking his head in disbelief. "You always did have a way of teaching lessons in the weirdest ways." In the weeks that followed, Keanu used his platform to bring attention to the food truck, raising funds and awareness. The community grew stronger, more connected. And 𝐍𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐼? Well, he became a local legend, immortalized in murals across the neighborhood, proudly depicted with a tiny chef's hat. One evening, as Keanu sat near the food truck, enjoying the lively atmosphere, a young boy tugged at his sleeve. "Mister, I think 𝐍𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐼 took my pretzel." Keanu looked up, saw the pigeon flying off with a twist of dough in its beak, and sighed with a knowing smile. "Here we go again." And just like that, the chase was back on.